Hey everyone, I'm Ross Chastain, and welcome to episode 5 of Asphalt, presented by LEVRACK and powered by AgAmerica Media. So today we're going to recap our weekends at Martinsville and Darlington, as well as take you on a trip down to Punta Gorda, Florida, and take you by Sill Farms and learn everything potatoes, as well as get to try some really fresh French fries. Then we'll wrap it up by looking ahead to this weekend's race at Bristol. But first, let's jump into the Smashdown presented by LEVRACK. All right, we're back in the studio here at the farm, back from Darlington. But first, producer Ben, did you get you some hot dogs at Martinsville?
Absolutely not. I made it a point to keep my number at 0 for the weekend, and I successfully did that.
Have you ever had one?
Yeah, I have. I've had probably 3 or 4, and I'm going to keep it at that. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not a fan.
Did you go all the way or just plain?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell everybody that when they go for the first time that if you're going to try, you got to do all the way. And then if you don't like it from that, that's okay. But I feel like if you just get it plain, then you're not getting the full experience.
What'd you not like about it?
Everything. I don't like the onion. I don't like hot dogs. So let's start with that. I don't like the onions. I'm very picky about my chili. So I'll just, yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
More for me then.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you're not going to eat them before you get in the car, right?
Not race day morning, but I had some when I got there on Saturday. I had one.
Okay.
And then I grabbed 2 for the ride home.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully you make it the whole ride and survive.
Absolutely. Oh man, come on. You want to know what I ate growing up before I met Josh Wise and got in the Chevy program?
Was it Martinsville Hot Dogs?
I got an iron gut. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. That's it's just if you ever go to Martinsville, you have to try one. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, other than hot dogs, how was your weekend there? Seemed like it was pretty tame.
It was. From my windshield, pretty uneventful. Not a lot to talk about for us. Just raced around the top 5 once we got up there. Didn't qualify there. Add it to the list of tracks that we just can't make that single lap speed at. So once we got up there, we raced with those guys. And I thought we were a second to 12th place car. Like our group there was all just in a line and plus or minus a spot. So 6th place, took the safe route on the last restart to not give up a bunch of spots. And ultimately that cost me 5th. The 5 car was able to get down. He did a really good job. But so 6th place, it was nice to be like disappointed that I could see 2nd and thought we could finish there if we were there. I raced with the 20 a lot and he ran 2nd. So yeah.
I'd say that was one of your better weekends, just off of speed throughout the race and consistency. It seemed like you guys found a little something, which was good. So.
Yeah, it was. There was a point early in the race where you could stay out and get some stage points, and we chose to not, and that kept us up there. And then from there, it was just straight up racing, and we were good enough to stay. It was nice. You're right. It was, especially that weekend, we were coming off of Homestead, which was terrible. And we were definitely, I was happy to just be able to see the leader, put ourselves in position. If a few things go different, we have a shot to win. And yeah, that was, it was a nice quiet day. Like you said, there was other people that were angry for things that happened a month earlier at Coda. But I don't have to talk about that because I don't think that was warranted at all. So,
jumping forward to this past weekend at Darlington, had double duty. We'll start with the Xfinity race, Acceptance Insurance and the 9-car and JRM. It's always fun for you to run with them. How'd that first portion of the weekend go for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, it didn't start out very good. So through this process, I ran Coda and JRM mounted the seat in the car, how they mount all their seats for their drivers. And I fit into that spot and put my insert in. And then that was fine. And then they adjusted a little bit for the ovals. And I went and sat in the car a couple weeks ago and thought everything was fine. And I asked them for some blackout vinyl on the windshield to block the sun. I had the fall race in mind, and I just was worried about any extra sun in my eyes if the race ran long or any delay or anything. The sun might set. And when I pulled on track, I realized that I could not see the racetrack. I had it way too low. So I had to pull back into pits before I even completed a lap and have them get a razor blade and cut the vinyl above me at an angle where I could see. And yeah, that's not good. I should have known that, but I got a little aggressive. I like window tint, and I like it low, and basically like a sun visor would be that you would flip down in your vehicle, but we can't have moving ones. So I just got a little too aggressive. But then from there, the car I did not qualify well. Qualified 27th. We went out second. So that was unfortunate with the metric system, the way that works. And I watched Dawson Cram pull out in front of me. When he came by, there was a rooster tail coming off his car from the track just being dirty from practice. And I felt like I had a rooster tail as well. It was no grip, to say the least. So that was a bummer that he went home and I qualified 27th. Once we got in the race, it was super fast. And we were able to drive through the field, put ourselves in position, took the lead a couple different times off of some restarts and got the car better. Corey Shea, crew chief on that car, he's been at JRM a long time, and I've heard his name, but he's now in that crew chief position. So it's cool to, I'm watching him across every race learn, and he's confident in his calls though. And he's been a big part of the setups of the cars at JRM for a long time, but now he gets to take his own to the racetrack as crew chief. So really even keeled guy. If you ever listen to our radio, it's just pit, you're fine, clean your tires. You're going to go green, and you got a 35 lap run to the next stage. Really short race, but had a shot to win. Just didn't quite all come together at the end.
Yeah. No, it was, it seemed like every time you brought up what you needed on the radio, he's like, yep, we're going to do this. You're going to be fine. So that was, kind of reminds me of Phil Sturgeon a lot. I feel like the calmness and the like, yep, we'll figure it out. You're going to be good. So that was probably nice to have that, especially with only running 5 races throughout the year and everything. So that's good. Yeah. A lot of the late race restarts definitely made it interesting. Yeah, what's your next one? Nashville, I think. So that's in June or July.
Yep.
So
Nashville, Dover, Iowa left in that car.
Okay. Awesome.
Next extracurricular race will be Charlotte and the Nice truck.
That's right. Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, moving on to the Cup race. Another pretty good day in the end. Byron absolutely dominated that. I mean, I was kind of tuned in the broadcast in and out in the media center and everything, and they would not stop talking about that that record he was going to break about leading every single lap. So that was pretty insane. What was your take on that and view of it? Because that 24 was really fast.
I didn't have a view of the 24 all day. I never saw him. Yeah, I mean, he nailed a lap in qualifying. He committed high, looking at his data that we have with OTD, and the car stuck. Mine did not. I was really loose in qualifying. We over adjusted after being too tight in practice. Yeah, it's one of the frustrating things about this sport when you put so much in. And for Chevrolet, we're key partners, we call it. So you have the 4 HMS cars, the 3 Trackhouse, and 2 RCR. We all share everything. We work together. We try to take the best 9 cars to the racetrack that we can, and then we'll race it out amongst ourselves. But you see it even amongst or within their own team, 1 car in the pole, 1 car in the 30s in qualifying, and we were all in the middle, and I was for sure. So DIL work, the simulator work, William didn't do anything. He wasn't in there all week. He never ran a single lap for Darlington. I put hours in. We put hundreds of laps in, and we're just trying to figure out. It's racing though. We're trying to figure out like what do I need out of the car? What does each of these other drivers need within Trackhouse for us exclusively? So yeah, it's Monday morning you look at it and you're like, dang, the guy had an easy week, and he goes out there and he just stomps us in the dirt. It came up a little short with the way the cautions and everything pit road fell at the end, but clearly the best car. Like I thought we were on Saturday. I thought in stage 3 we were the best car, and pit road didn't go our way and we lose, and William was the same way. So bummer for him, obviously. I'm buddies with him, and I'd much rather him win than the other guy. So but for us, we caught that bad break with the 6 car losing that wheel nut and that odd caution that came out like after he was already on pit road, and the wheel lug, the nut was already down on the apron right on the outside of pit wall, way out of where anybody races. So I don't love that we throw we threw a caution during the pit cycle. They waited, I'd say 30 seconds, but there's still a lot of cars that needed a pit, and it trapped a lot of us a lap down, and we had to take the wave around. Now we're stuck in the back, and cars that we were way better than have newer tires, and now we're stuck. So it took us the rest of the race to get back up there after I was deep in my box as well, and got blocked in at one point. So that didn't help either. But we were a top 10 car again. So like I said about Martinsville and Vegas, like just nice to be right there, and I can see the leader. I saw the 11 cross the line at Homestead. I didn't see who won. I'm still trying to finish.
You're still waiting for the finish. Yeah.
I'm still waiting. So nice, very nice. Raced around the other Chevys, which was good. So we can have, we had a really constructive Monday debrief and looking through all that to understand what we did right, what we did wrong. And obviously we're all looking at the 24 to see what in the world they did. Cause they were definitely better than even their teammates. So yeah, it was nice. That NASCAR.com article, what was the headline? Ross Chastain is back.
Ross Chastain is back. Congratulations. We missed you.
Potentially back, did it say, I think?
Analytically, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking at a bunch of data. Well, good to have you back.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be back.
It's been a minute. So.
It was a good vacation. What the heck? I don't know. I guess you got to write about something. And if we're writing about me being back or not, if I'm making headlines for running 7th and 6th 2 weeks in a row and getting a couple good restarts, boring.
I feel like that's par for the course, though.
Yeah. Well, if you're not going to win, you might as well be memorable. Before we jump ahead to Bristol, I did spend some time down at the Sill Farms. They're a potato operation down in Punta Gorda, Florida, just down the road from our family farm. And I got to tell you, man, they cooked some French fries that were out of this world. Like potatoes out of the field, cut them, sliced them, salted them, fried them, and salted them. It was next level. Let's check it out. Let's take you down to the Sill Farm in Punta Gorda, Florida, and learn about all things potatoes. Boots on the ground here in Punta Gorda, Florida at Sill Farms, where they specialize in potatoes, and 3 generations are currently here growing a family and growing potatoes. Here I'm going to be able to get some fresh out of the ground, hopefully a little salt, fry them up. Check out their operation. All right, so we're standing here in the packing house, Sill Farms, with Calvin, Brody. Talk to me about this packing line here. We're here because it is downpouring outside, raining. Beautiful day here in South Florida, but this is quite the operation. This is the beginning of it where they come out of the field?
Yes, right. As we bring them in from the field, we back the truck up and dump them into a flume system of water, because we want a soft cushion for those potatoes to fall into. We do not want to skin the potatoes, because red skinned potato will leave a brown mark on it after its setup period. So we do everything we can in order to keep from skinning the potato. Mm-hmm. Then they proceed on up into the washing unit that sprays water over the potatoes as they tumble, and then they continue on up the line here.
Right.
So we'll walk through. These are air blowers or dryers on that blows the moisture off the potato and dries the potato. As they come up through here, they're rolling also. Then they continue up the line here and go into this silver machine, and this is an electronic sorter. Okay, there's a computer in it that has an eye on it that will read every potato as that potato crosses over, and it'll detect any defect on the potato. And as that potato drops down, there's an arm at the bottom of it. That computer tells it to kick that particular arm or that particular potato out just by arm. Mm-hmm. And then that comes out this other side and comes out here, and those are seconds. So we sell them at a lower rate, and a lot of people use them, of course, as seconds. Then they continue on up the line and come out onto a roller picking table, and we have inspectors here to visually pick out any small defect or something that might have missed. That's not 100%, but it's pretty good. Repackage into a 50-pound box or a 50-pound bag, depending on the orders. Bags that we use with our brand on. And we've got a palm tree sitting down at Punta Gorda.
Right. How old is the brand of Sill Farms, and how long have you been using this?
We came here in 2007,
Yeah.
and at that time is when we set up this Sill Farms brand. We came from Pennsylvania, of course. That was 17 years ago.
Right. Where can people look for these boxes? So it's got the Fresh from Florida branding on it, right? That's a great program our state does to promote us and give us a platform for people across the country to know they're getting Fresh from Florida products and produce, potatoes. Where can people find this brand?
A lot of of course, the farmers market will carry our potatoes, but they might not be in our bag because they separate them out. Yeah, we sell all over the United States.
All over the U.S.
California.
Yep.
A lot of them stay local here in Florida.
Yeah.
We have a repacker that buys them, and we'll put them into a little poly bag. They won't have our brand on them, but they can very well come from us.
Is the goal for Sill Farms the brand to continue to grow on, aside from the farm, or is Sill Farms the brand just?
Yeah, not necessarily.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, because
You're supplying.
we're supplying a lot of people who do repacking, and so our name doesn't continue on
Right.
after that.
Right.
So
Y'all came down from Pennsylvania. What the goal was? The weather, the family. I mean, y'all been up there for how long?
my granddad started in 1932 up in Pennsylvania growing potatoes, and so then it continued on. My dad, and then down to me, and it was getting hard to sell the potatoes in the fall of the season. So I knew we needed to get off season, which down here is the only place you can do that.
Right.
So that was the biggest reason, I guess, for coming down, to get off of that season, to get away from all the competition.
So you remember Pennsylvania?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And you grew up there.
Yeah.
How old were you when y'all moved down here?
Out of high school,
What'd you think about that?
I came down and tried it out. Well, different.
Yeah.
It's a very different place to grow than Pennsylvania.
Yep. What's one thing that's people wouldn't think about? I mean, weather, but is
Irrigation, I think, is the big one.
And water. Everything deals with water.
Yeah.
Whether irrigation or if you get big rainstorms, you got to pump your water off.
Yeah. And you weren't having to do that in Pennsylvania.
No, there's too many hills.
Right. How are you irrigating in Pennsylvania?
Well, we weren't really. We just let Mother Nature or whatever we get. Sometimes we're dry and sometimes we're wet.
Right. So you're generational. Obviously, you're coming down, following Dad. You're following Dad and Granddad.
Right.
Georgia Boots wants to say thank you for what y'all do and give you a couple new pairs of boots. So we've got them for you here. I think we already got your sizes. So
Okay.
whoever's a size
thank you.
14. Well, there you go. So yeah, when the work never stops, right? Even a day like today where we're having to be inside because it is raining heavy out there.
Right.
When you pull your boots on in the morning, get up, go to work, Georgia Boot wants you to know they're with you, and generations past and generations to come. I see some young ones running around here that probably have the opportunity if they want to be involved, and I want to say thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm standing here with 3 generations of the Sill family, 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation potato farmers right here in Punta Gorda, Florida. Thank y'all for having us out today. It's been an enlightening experience. Good luck with your crop.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. A big thanks to the entire Sill family, as well as LEVRACK, Georgia Boot, and Fresh from Florida. Now let's set the table for Bristol. Man, this is a cool place. Bristol is one of a kind. When you drive up, you're just rolling through the mountains, and then there is the outside of the grandstands. And then when you get into the grandstands, it's built off of a Coliseum, setup, the way they designed it, with Colossus hanging, the big 4-panel TV in the middle. You can always see a replay from every seat in the house, and every seat can see the entire racetrack. It's I will be honest, it is my favorite. No, it's my second favorite behind Darlington. That is a well-known fact for anybody that knows me. That's a common question I get about every weekend at the racetrack. What's your favorite track? And Darlington's first. Bristol is a close second. We're going to have the flannel Busch car. That's going to be cool. Another specialty paint scheme from Busch Light. And it just so happens that it's going to be cool. It was not cool this last few weeks. And this past race was hot in Darlington, but going to be pretty cool over in the mountains. Cold front just came through. So yeah, excited about that. Perfect flannel weather. And Busch Light is such an iconic sponsor. Y'all have seen it from drivers way before me. But to get to carry these colors along the way now, it's really cool. And I don't take it lightly that I get to run these specialty schemes. But before all that, even before I get on track, I'm going to do the PRN truck race. So my second time in the booth this year with PRN, Brad Gilley, Mark Garrow, and a couple of our pit reporters. You know anything about that, Ben?
I do. You're going to be with my roommate, Andrew Curlin. Shout out, Andrew. I told him that we'd give him a shout out. So here it is, Andrew.
I wonder, so the way they do it, whenever we toss it down, and I don't normally toss it down to the pit reporters when pit stops start, but they're labeled by a 1, 2, or a 3 based on where they're at on pit road. So I'm wondering, do you think Andrew's what number should he be?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I told him you should give him a hard time though, whatever he is, whatever section he ends up in. So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be, but I'll text you some ideas.
Just if you had to label him as a number, is he a 1, 2, or 3?
I mean, I'm going to put him at a 3. He's still a rookie. It's only his second time doing it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's only my second time this year. I've done it a few times over the years, but with no real consistency, this year is going to be the most times people will see me up there with them. So I will say I'm much happier to be up in the booth, though. The walk up to it is worth it that I don't have to fight pit road. It's so loud inside Bristol when the cars are on track.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I did the TV stuff, I had that Fox race last year at Texas, because I would look out the window and I called a crash and they didn't have the camera on it. And they're like, no, you call the race off the screen. So
pull a Dale.
Yeah.
Dale loves doing that. So he starts screaming and then it's like, what?
Yeah. So radio's nicer that I can just, we can call it, or usually the turn announcers, they cut in and then they have all the exhaust right in their face because they're in the corner on the outside. So when they call it, you hear engines all of a sudden. You're like, oh, somebody's crashing. Where's it at? But yeah, I have some fun with that. That stuff is definitely outside of my comfort zone. Just like this, not a podcast that we're currently doing. It's and I'm sure Andrew's pushing himself to do it as well. It's not the easiest.
Well, another highway safety weekend too for you. Going to Tennessee. You're visiting a high school, I believe. I might even be tagged along to this. I don't.
Yeah, on Friday.
No, but yeah. I know you visited a couple schools this year already. So, first one with Tennessee this year.
Yeah, it is. And look, this message is something that we keep talking about it. We keep promoting it, and people keep getting injured and losing their lives in crashes. They're not accidents, they're crashes. And that's why we keep doing it. So people are going to continue to see us push our protect and use your melon programs. And Tennessee is a big state for us to do that in. So we try to get out in the market, get away from the racetrack some. I love all our race fans and we'll do stuff at the track, but getting out to a high school is where I feel like we can have some real meaningful impact. I can have more than 5 minutes with a whole group of people. I can have a couple hours. I spend a couple hours and they bring out classes, whole groups, and we do some fun things, giveaways, and just try to make it a little fun, but keep it serious enough that all we're asking them to do is when they get in their cars to leave school, just put their dang seatbelt on. I've crashed enough to know how much I need it in the race car, and I need it on the highway too, and so does everybody else. So yeah, you're coming along. I need you there.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. That'll be fun.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Ag to Asphalt, presented by LEVRACK and powered by AgAmerica Media. Be sure to tune in to the Food City 500 this Sunday at 3 p.m. on FS1. And if you're coming to the race at Bristol this weekend, I'll be stopping by all things Food City. So first, I'll be at the Food City in Piney Flats on Friday from 3:30 to 4:30, talking all things watermelons. Then before the race on Sunday, I'll be at the Food City stage in the fan zone from 10:40 to 10:55. Back to that thing where I have less time at the track. I can do a whole hour at a store. I can only do a couple minutes at the racetrack. And I'll also be at the Tennessee Highway Safety booth from 11 to 11:30, reminding you to protect your melon. And finally, the merch hauler from 11:35 to 12:05 to sign all things One Car Trackhouse, the Melon Man brand. Subscribe to Like a Farmer on YouTube, where an episode is going to drop every other Thursday. Why don't you leave a review? Tell me how good I'm doing on Apple and Spotify, and we'll see y'all next week.